All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions. We are a day removed from the trade deadline. I love the decision the Detroit Lions decided to do. But they're entering their bye week. They're sitting at 6-2. And Detroit, look at this. They have the second best odds of making the playoffs and earning the #1 seed. Folks, I know we're in week 8. I know the Detroit Lions are ahead of schedule. But look, you are one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL in general. You are literally 6-2 right now. After this time last year, man, you were 1-6. You have the green light. You don't need to go out there and make a huge move and, give up a ton of draft capital, a ton of, talent or whatever. But this is when seeding, we're in week 8, man. This is when seeding becomes extremely important. Every single team in the playoff hunt, especially at the top level, they want that home field. Home field is huge. I know Detroit. I know they're going to win 13 games. I know they're going to win double-digit games. I know they're going to win a playoff game. But look, you're one of the best teams in the league. Why not get that 1 seed and make a legitimate run at the Super Bowl? I know we've got half a regular season to play. This is the reality of the situation, man. The Detroit Lions are one of the best teams in the goddamn league. So what did they decide to do? They made a brilliant trade, and they went out there and acquired a buy low candidate in Donovan Peoples-Jones. He is having a brutal season. 8 catches, 97 yards. He is averaging 12 yards per catch, but here's the catch. The Browns' offense this season has been mainly PJ Walker. So Donovan's stats don't matter. Last year, 14 starts, 17 games played, 61 catches, a career high 839 yards, 14 yards per reception, 3 touchdowns. And what is the icing on the freaking cake? Folks, where is Donovan Peoples-Jones from? Oh, he's from Michigan. So before we get into tonight's video, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with a couple of Lions videos every single week. Lions fans, I love you guys as always. Try and get this video to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. All right, look, here's the thing. This is something I've very much noticed against the Las Vegas Raiders, which, by the way, there are a couple of miscues. There are a couple of hiccups away from like a 44-7 victory, 41-7 victory, whatever it was. Here's the thing. Their offense has so much versatility, but in the meantime, as we've kind of been seeing with Jahmyr Gibbs in the last couple of weeks with that banged up David Montgomery, Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions are still trying to find ways, and they're still trying to, experiment different things to get guys like Jahmyr Gibbs to play to the, best of his ability, Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams. Now, what that leads you is Sam Laporta's having a phenomenal season, by the way. 54 yards per game. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. Josh Reynolds, 50 yards per game. He has 400 receiving yards on the season. Khalif Raymond, 230 yards on the season. He's giving you 30 yards per game. Jahmyr Gibbs, we're starting to see him be more incorporated in the passing game. But look, you have guys who just need time. Guys like Jameson Williams. And so I was very blown away when I was watching that Lions game and I saw the statistic that Amon-Ra St. Brown, 25 catches in the last 2 games, set a Detroit Lions record. You don't want a predictable offense, and the Detroit Lions with Ben Johnson certainly don't run a predictable offense, but I want layers. I want versatility to it. So I don't view the Detroit Lions depth, wide receiver depth, I should say, or receiving depth, whether it's Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, all of my wide receivers. I don't view that as a weakness. But what a lot of people, when they're building or when they're thinking of a team or building a team on Madden or whatever it is, or you're building a fantasy team, it doesn't matter. A lot of people like to focus on their weaknesses instead of honing in on their strengths. The Detroit Lions have one of the most versatile and creative offenses in the entire National Football League. You cannot tell me that having Donovan Peoples-Jones, who gave me on the Cleveland Browns last season, 61 catches, 839 yards. He's only 24 years old. I mean, he fits this team perfectly, not only with his talent, but especially just considering where he's from. Going to Michigan, 25 years old. I mean, the dude played at the University of Michigan. He's a Wolverine. I mean, Dan Campbell literally talked about this the weeks leading up to the trade deadline. Like, look, man, we want our team to improve, but we don't want to mess up with the vibe and the energy and the aura of this team, this connection that this squad has. So that's why you handpick these players that are going to fit your team and make your team better. I know it's like extremely simple, but I think the Detroit Lions had a phenomenal trade deadline. Now, would a guy like Chase Young coming on over, would that, be a big deal? 100%. But when I watch the Detroit Lions defense, I love it. Outside of the Baltimore Ravens game, in which Lamar Jackson, the first time he plays an NFC team, he's 16-1. He's 16-1 against the NFC. People don't know what to do. So it was a great lesson. I know we talked about it in our last Lions video, go back a couple of years ago to Tampa Bay, Tom Brady losing back to back. Both times they played the Saints. They went on and easily won the Super Bowl. I mean, that Raiders game wasn't close. I mean, it was not close. They gave up 7 offensive points. The Raiders had 1 offensive touchdown. The Marcus Peters pick 6, just miscommunication with Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? So I look at these games like Tampa Bay, the Raiders, the Panthers, my Green Bay Packers, the Falcons, the Chiefs, outside of the Seahawks game, which was the second game of the season. And by the way, the Seattle Seahawks, they're a really good freaking football team. The defense has done a great job. So when we look at statistics, I'm going to take it with like several grains of salt. I'm probably not even going to take it because there's just way too much salt on it. They're giving up technically 20.6 points per game, and that technically ranks as 17th in the league. It's 2023. If you play a playoff game against any competitive team, if you're the Detroit Lions and you go up against the other top 9, teams in the NFL, considering the Lions are top 10 undisputed, right? And you give up 20 points and you're giving your top 8 offense, you're putting up 25 plus points per game, you're going to win a lot of football games. You're going to win playoff games. If your defense is giving up 20 points per game and your offense is giving me 25 with Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta still trying to get going, now I've got Donovan Peoples-Jones to make Amon-Ra St. Brown life a little bit easier. These are complementary pieces. These are complementary players offensively, defensively. They're well coached. They have a great rest of the season as far as schedule goes. This team is clearly going to win the NFC North. I like Jaron Hall. I like my BYU guys to go to college in Utah, but Minnesota's not winning as many games as Detroit. My Packers certainly aren't, and the Chicago Bears certainly aren't. Seeding is important, and I know this team is still trying out, or they're still figuring out how to win. You need games like Baltimore. You need games like the Raiders. So we're going to see what this new look, Donovan Peoples-Jones, you got the bye week to prepare for this, to continue to ramp up. Ben Johnson's going to continue to figure out ways. How can we get Jameson Williams involved? How can we make Jahmyr Gibbs, and we've seen it we saw it against the Raiders. How can we make this team as unpredictable and as explosive as humanly possible? Guys, this Detroit Lions team is extremely legit. I understand some of the pessimism, or pessimism's not the right word. I understand some of the, worriness, just considering, this team hasn't technically won a playoff game in quite some time. I understand it. But at the end of the day, take it from a cheesehead, the Detroit Lions are in a really good position, and I absolutely love what they've done from a management, coaching, player standpoint. I love it. This is a bye week. It's coming at a great time, middle of the season. You're 6-2. You just got a new wide receiver. I absolutely love where Detroit is right now. But guys, let me know what you are thinking about the Detroit Lions and the Donovan Peoples-Jones trade down below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. We'll see you next time.